Hello everyone. Today I'm going to show you an example of React promises, and we would be using that using TypeScript. So what is a promise? A promise is typically used to handle asynchronous data across operations such as fetching data from your API and then binding it with your application variables or your application elements, HTML elements, and showing that on the HTML window. So here we will use promises with the fetch API. I have a component named myComponent.tsx, and here you can see that I'm using this return new promise. Okay, this is similar to your JavaScript promise. The only thing is that this one is written using TypeScript. Okay, so um, now here my application is using uh, a const variable that is fetch joke, and we are using an API which I got this from the Google, like it's using a joke official joke API, and that's just an open API. So we will be binding those text messages to our application and we would run that. What else are we using here? Well, I'm using a delay that's 2000 milliseconds, or you can say that's delaying the loading thing for 2 seconds, and then it's loading that data from the API into my application and displaying that on the HTML page. So what files do we have? I guess if you're watching this video, you already know how we um, install React, how we install Node, and how we run the application. If not, you can watch my previous videos on this segment and you can find that. Well, we are using Visual Studio Code to run this application. I'll put the description of this application uh, for the GitHub link on YouTube description, and you can download it there. Remember, when you are downloading any application from GitHub, you need to do the npm-i or the Node Package Manager and install, and that will install all the related packages for your application, and your application should be fine. Otherwise, if you download any application from GitHub and you try to run that, you will get an error. Okay, so here, um, let's run this application and see what's the result. So let's clear the screen. And the command to run the application is npm start. As I start this application, it's going to fetch the default port for React. So that should be localhost 3000. And we should be seeing the API fetch data from um, its database and show up on the CSS page. I'm sorry, on the HTML. Okay, while it's loading the data, I'll show you a few more things here. Previously, when we opened this application, it had this app.tx and it had the default React logo, the React link, and uh, some statements on it. How did we override that one? Well, in the index.tsx, instead of using the app component, I used my component. And my component is the extra component that I added to my application. That's my component.tsx. And we have mentioned all our code in that one, which will fetch the API, use the promise keyword, and fetch the data and show up on the screen. So here it's trying to fetch that on the localhost 3000 port, and we should see what it is loading. So we would see the loading text before the joke statement. Here you can see that it's showing the loading screen, and then we got the jokes here. If I refresh this page, I'll see the loading first of all for first 2 seconds, and then I will see the joke here. Once again, perfect. That's changing the jokes because of the API, so it will keep on changing jokes as we keep refreshing that. So that keeps on fetching new joke every time you refresh the page. All right. So if we go back to our description on the code, we will see that on the div, the first statement that we load is the loading screen. Okay, it is initially it is having a div which has the loading, and then if there is an error, it will return the error. If not, then it will go to the joke.punchline. Now, if we look at the function, what is it doing? First of all, It will set the timeout, how long we want to show the loader. And after that, when it tries to fetch the joke, it will check for the response. Once it sees that there is some response and it's an okay response, it will show that response. If not, it will show that there is an error or the network response was not found. And if an error, then it will go to the catch block and it will reject with an error message. Okay. So pretty much it's very simple to understand. I hope you found it helpful, and if you run through the code you will find it much better. If you want to make changes to it, you can manipulate that one, you can edit the statements. And I hope you like the video. Until I have the next set of videos, stay tuned, stay connected, and happy coding. Thank you.